Hello, I'm Sarita at CKG, and I'm here with my amazing panel to talk about future-proofing your in-house career. So to start with, I was thinking it'd be really good to know, how much do you feel things like operational thinking, including the use of technology, is changing the way that you deliver legal advice to your business?
So I think legal operations has a huge role to play in the services that we deliver. I think the businesses that we support are keen to understand that we are providing legal services within budget and that they are getting value for money for that budget as well. And that means getting legal advice that is right and relevant to the business, and it's getting done by the right people. And it's being done in a timely manner. And I think operations has a role to play in all of that, whether it's ensuring that we've got a team looking at outside counsel spend, whether we can be doing that in a more smarter way and in a more streamlined way, to, as you say, the use of technology. And that can be anything from kind of document management to matter management. And that all has a role to play in terms of how we provide those legal services. I think the challenge with, certainly on the technology side, is from an adoption perspective and getting people actually involved in adopting into new technology. And I think that's the challenge that we face in the legal services profession.
I totally agree with you. I think it's really helpful because you can do a lot more with less.
Yeah.
So you can get your lawyers, you can have a smaller team and focus on more interesting matters. So your legal team can work on more interesting things. But I agree, the other thing is there's so many different legal products out there. I think you need to kind of look at everything that you need to do, what the business thinks is a priority, and kind of focus on those, because otherwise there's so many products out there, you kind of need to know what you're looking for and then go and find the right product.
And just to intercede on that, I think the important thing to keep in mind is when you're thinking about legal technology, it's not just technology that's been designed specifically for the legal function. What you also have at your disposal are these really great sort of general adoption technologies, such as various ways of communicating, various ways of collaborating that can be really, really helpful, both in terms of smoothing, say, multi-jurisdiction work for multi-jurisdictional teams, or in helping to cultivate the particular kind of team culture that you want to have, and sort of fostering information sharing, all of which I think you really need to keep in mind if you're going to be running a successful in-house function.
That's good, because we've just started using, some people are using Slack and some people are using Teams, and it is definitely helpful, especially when it's like regional or international. It's really, really helpful.
But we get really hung up on like use of bots, right? To help with review of NDAs and that's like specific to legal stuff. But you're right. The thing that's helped me most over the last couple of years is like OneDrive, for example, right? So like collaboration on one document, having multiple people within one document. I mean, that's not specific to the legal services, and we kind of have to get out of that mindset of concentrating on something that's specific to legal.
No, we've got the shared drive at our company as well, where we have jurisdictional differences. So we're a global company. So for example, finance, you've got the legal team from London, but you've also got the treasury team from Singapore and across different jurisdictions that actually they can go into OneDrive and have a look at all of the documents at the same time without there being any sort of inconsistencies at what people are looking at. So no, absolutely, I agree.
So something I'm really passionate about and keen to hear what your views are on is, how do you go about hiring then and building a team for not just the present but the future as well? How do you do that?
Great question. So I think the way to think about building a legal team is from sort of three different angles. You start obviously with the company's needs. What does the company need? But the second one is also you need to think about and know your team. Think about, where's the team now? Where does the team need to go? And then the third thing is how is the individuals. So teams are, by their definition, composed of individuals, and I think to be successful in running a team in-house, you need to think about what are the needs of the people that make up that team, and how you can help them to grow. When you're figuring out how to build a team to match the company's aspirations, the really important thing to keep in mind is, what are the company's aspirations? Is it a company that's planning on expanding in the US in the next 3 years? In which case, can you think about a team that's going to either already start out being based in the US, or that's going to be really capable of scaling and traveling and kind of maintaining that. Second thing is, think about recruiting to fit your team. So you really should have a very strong idea of what kind of team culture you would like to foster, and then be really, really, really on the lookout for people who are going to help to contribute to and develop that. And the important thing to keep in mind is different kinds of legal functions may require different teams. So if you've got a really broad team of subject matter experts, what you may want is you may just want people of a similar seniority level. If, on the other hand, what you want is you're trying to build out quite a deep team, what you probably want is a better mix of juniors, mid-levels, and seniors who can help each other by performing sort of specific tasks at different levels. And recruiting for that. And then finally, at the individual level, really making sure people are happy in the workplace and feel a sense of purpose and feel that they have the ability to progress, feel a sense of ownership, and structuring teams, whether that's by giving people specific areas of responsibility or by structuring your team so that people have abilities to lead, even if it's just a smaller range of line reports.
What about the importance of diversity? Because diversity is something that, is a big topical, something that everybody's talking about. So be keen to hear your thoughts, panel, on that as well.
Yeah, so I agree with Susanna. I think it's really important that your team focuses on this 3 to 5 year strategy of the company, and therefore you can kind of address your team's needs based on that 3 or 5 year plan. Diversity, there's 2 things. There's background and experience. So I think background is your normal diversity, so BAME, gender, background, age, all of those normal things that we classify as diversity. I think your team needs to have all of those because, for example, the millennials and Generation Z have a completely different mindset to my boss, for example. And I think, they're the new generation, so I think it needs to evolve together. But I also think experience is important. I think not just experience of background of different people, but experience of non-legal skills, what people have done before, and all this diversity together helps eliminate groupthink, because it's easy for everyone just to agree with someone else.
We need to reflect also the diversity in the business, right? I mean, if the legal profession is white, male, 40, 50, 60, 30s, that's not a reflection of what the business is like. And you're not bringing those perceptions and attitudes that the business would have with different kind of millennials and different backgrounds. It needs to be able to kind of reflect those as well in the legal profession. So we are supporting as best as we can.
I agree, but it's not just it's not just diversity by background and gender. It's also diversity of thought. People think differently. Some people are technologists, some people are legal experts, but all of those things together can help us find better solutions. So I agree.
So how do we become masters? How do you become masters of your business? How do you go about really nurturing and developing that skill set? Because it's, really important as an in-house lawyer, not just to have the technical legal expertise, but to, really get under the skin of the business and understand it. How do you go about doing that?
I think it's a huge misconception to think that being an in-house lawyer, you're only there to give legal opinions.
We want to agree with that.
For an in-house lawyer, what they're really looking for your support on is not only the legal expertise that is given, but they're really looking to partner you and understand what the legal ramifications are for a transaction. And what they're looking for is support for the business. And in order for one to do that, you really need to understand the strategy of the company. You need to understand your competitors. You need to understand the industry. What are other people doing in the industry that they're doing better than you? Or how can you take advantage of cooperation with your competitors? How can you get involved in the strategy stage of your business initiatives, not document churning at the end of a transaction when they sort of chug a whole lot of documents on your plate. So I think it's really important to understand and know that you don't just have a legal hat, you have many different hats on the operational side, understanding the business, going to the sites to understand what people are doing, and knowing that your skill set isn't really just about the legal technical expertise, but really being that partner with the business.
Yeah, Linda, I 100% agree. It's definitely not about legal expertise. And I think the next generation of general counsel is more and more prevalent that of course, your legal skills are important and inherently, like, you have those. But I think it's more and more important to have other skills. Essentially, we try and make good decisions based on risk. And everyone looks to us, as you say, to partner and provide sound judgment. And so more and more non-legal skills are becoming more important than actual legal skills.
You know, one of the themes that comes out every time you talk to any GC anywhere is you're constantly under pressure to do more with less. It's been a phrase that we've definitely heard even in this brief session. And look, the only way you're going to do more with less, more with less in the right way, is by knowing what 20% to focus on and what 80% you can kind of relax a bit more on. And if you don't know where your business's priorities are, and if you're still chasing kind of the straight commas, and you're spending all your time drafting the absolute perfect covenant,
But we've got to be agile in that, because more and more now, businesses are changing, not just for regulatory reasons, but every day changing. We have Brexit, political climate. They're changing so fast that you need to really be on the pulse of the business, as Linda was saying, partnering with them so that as soon as the changes come up, what changes you need to make as the legal team to help them with that.
But that's around network as well. I mean, that's why
true. Good point.
Networking within the business and knowing who to go to, who your stakeholders are, is absolutely critical. And the way, I find anyway, of kind of getting to understand the business. Your point about the competitive angle as well, that kind of external looking, is also critical.
Yeah, which is also networking. You can have, there's always forums of which you can speak to your competitors, not necessarily about what's happening in the business, but issues that you're all facing together.
Yeah. Partnering with the business means also sort of being their emissary outside in the business world, and I think you've touched. It's kind of come out a little bit in all of our responses, or in all of our thoughts. You negotiate that contract not just by making really great legal points, but by winning the trust and respect of the parties on the other side, and that is just as equally partnering with the business.
And be proactive about it as well. Not just be reactive and waiting for someone to come with you an issue. Raise your hand and make suggestions if you don't think business-wise it makes sense.